Okay, so let's go over these that are on this review sheet. So we're going to do number 1 first. Log 5x equals log 2x plus 9. Now, so I noticed that some of y'all got stumped right away, and that's okay. In fact, sometimes I prefer you to get stumped because I feel like you'll learn it better. So I'm not judging. Don't be discouraged. One of the things that I told you yesterday is you're trying to look for one log on both sides, or either side, okay? I have a log here, my log 5x, and I have the log 2x plus 9. Now, what I saw happening is y'all are trying to subtract over, you're trying to divide by, you're trying to do all these crazy things. You're even separating this out, and I talked about that yesterday too. It's just that you hadn't seen it, so you didn't know it would be important. Okay, so now you've seen it, so now maybe it's more heightened in your awareness. I really didn't know what to do with this. Yesterday I thought I would when Miss Knight was going over it, but now I'm confused. So you've got one log and one log. If you have one log on both sides, I told you you can drop the logs. Okay, so if you didn't get that the first time around, make yourself a really good note on this sheet of paper, please. Okay, log here, log here. It doesn't matter, guys, that this is being added. This is not log 2x plus log 9. This is one log. It's written as a single log. So then all I have to do is 5x equals 2x plus 9, subtract my 2x, x equals 3. And I imagine if you had time to store this in your calculator and put it in, you would put one side in, put the other side in, and see if the numbers equal. And they should. So questions about this?
On log canceling, it goes for only if they have the same base, right?
Only if they have the same base.
But
And you
it
should.
doesn't have to be 10. It can be any.
It does not have to be 10 if that was 2 and 2. I will not give you a 2 and a 10. Can't do it. Okay, they have to be the same base. Good. Other questions? All right, so then number 2, you should see, should work very similarly. Now, guys, yes, I have a binomial behind each one of these. But there's one log, a single log, a single log. I have a log here, I have a log here. I can drop the logs. Hey, guys, these are my favorite. I always look for when you can drop them because they usually end up being pretty easy. Okay, so look for those. So if I move the 10 over, those cancel. Oh, from Miss Martindale. Thank you. I'm going to talk about that in a minute. So I have 0 equals x. That is your answer. Do not be afraid of a 0 as an answer. Okay, how are we coming? If you struggled, do you think you understand it a little bit better? Okay? Sometimes it's I do, we do, you got to do, and when you got to do, you kind of go, okay, I got to learn this a little more. That's okay. All right? I want to see the top part of that iceberg. I want all of y'all to have that success. But do you see all the stuff that goes in it? Disappointment, failure, sacrifice, hard work. You're not going to have success without those things. So I don't want you to sit here and think that if you messed up on this, oh my goodness, I'm not going to be successful in this class. That's not true. Okay? All right, let's move on down to number 8. Number 8, this one threw some of y'all off. Now, just like yesterday, I told you saw power property. Y'all saw power property. I can work it with the power property, but it is a little bit of a nightmare. Okay, so a lot of y'all wanted to move the -2 up here. I want you to take this word. This is almost log form. Almost. It's almost log form except for what? The -2 out in front. Because remember, log form is log base b y equals x. It doesn't have an a out in front, right? So this is almost log form except for this little number right here. Now, like I said, I can work it with the power property, but it gets really nasty. And if you want me to show you, I'll be happy to. I'm not going to waste class time on it, but I'll be happy to. I showed you it was one in your summer work like this, and there was one in your work yesterday in class. If I want to get rid of this so that I can make it log form, how will I get rid of this? Divide by -2. So again, y'all saw me do this yesterday. You probably didn't think much about it. Didn't think it would be a big deal. But when you see something out front and it's almost log form or almost exponential form, all it has is something out front, you're going to divide. Now I have log form, right? Can I drop the log? No. Why can I not drop the log? There's not a log on the other side. So I have to go from log form to exponential form. What's my base? 5 raised to the equals. Now you can do 5 to the -1 on your calculator. It's 1/5. Now what do I do? Divide by 7. Be careful. If you're not sure about yourself, check it on the calculator. When I divide by 7, I multiply by 7's reciprocal. So this is 1/35 equals x. Just take 1/5 and divide by 7. It'll do it on your calculator. All right, questions with that one? Okay, let's look at number 10. Number 10 is almost log form, correct? Almost. Almost log form, except for what? The -6. So the easiest way for me to get rid of the -6 is divide. Now I have log form. So 3 to the 4th equals x minus 3. 3 to the 4th is 81. And guys, if you have time, very rarely, well, it's not all the time that you can check and make sure you got the perfect answer, but you can do that on these. So if you're not checking your answers on my quizzes or tests, you're pretty much leaving it up to chance. Now, I'm not going to say if you check it and it's wrong that you won't run out of time trying to fix it. But they do not let an opportunity to check your work go past and you make some mistakes that you could go back and wait a minute, what have I forgotten to do? Okay? So, store 84 as x. Put in this just as it was originally. It should equal -24. Yes, sir.
Would you suggest like going through the whole test and then going back and checking your answers, or check it as soon as you get done?
I would check it as soon as I get done. If you get a wrong answer and you don't figure out right away, mark it and move on. Do not waste the rest of the test that you could get right spending 10 or 15 minutes on one problem. But at least you will know, I got it right, I can move on, or I need to come back to this one. But I would not sacrifice the rest of the test. Okay? Somebody over here have their hand up? Okay. All right, any questions on 10? All right, let's look at 12 then. Now, what do we notice? My rule is I want a single log where I can have a single log. Do I have a single log on the left and on the right? Okay. So I don't have to combine anything. Got me? Nothing. I don't have two logs to multiply or divide. So I have a log 9 here. I have a log 9 here. I can drop those. Now immediately you should see a clue. What clue should you see?
X
The
squared.
quadratic, the x squared, this right here. Okay, very important. So when I see a quadratic or an x squared, that means I need to get all my terms on one side. I typically like to leave this positive, so I'm going to add the 11x. No, the 11x cannot be combined with x squared, but the constants can. So I've got 0 equals x squared plus 11x plus 28. Now, you can use your polysolve. In fact, everybody do this for me. We're going to do this one. So do your polysolve. If you got x equals -7 and x equals -4, good for you. If you didn't, do your polysolve and make sure. Now, what did I tell you about negative numbers yesterday? They usually don't work. But why do you think both of these will work up here?
Both of them are negative.
Both of them are negative, so negative times negative will equal a,
Positive.
or what about in this case?
It's gonna be a positive.
When you square a negative, it becomes positive. So what I'm saying, guys, is don't look at a negative and think, oh, it won't work. Probably 8 times out of 10 it won't, but you see here why it will. So let's just check the -7. So everybody store -7 as x. I want to do a little practice on this. Store -7 as x. Now, hit your log 3 times and put log base 9. And you might want to put these in parentheses, -11x plus 2, and press enter. And I don't know what you get. I have no idea.
1.74.
Okay? Dot, dot, dot. Now, type in the right side. You should get the same number. If you get a domain error or something like that, that's when it doesn't work. Did y'all get them to match? Okay, it's very important that you be able to check your work. Extremely important. I mean, I'd like to know if I made 100 before I turned in. I bet everybody else in here would too. Okay? All right, so any questions on the front page, please stop me. Okay, let's turn to the back page. We had number 18 first. Now, what's the difference in 18 and some of the ones on the first page?
There's 2 logs.
2 logs. And I don't want to have 2 logs. I don't want to have 3. I don't want to have 4. I want to rewrite this. These were your instructions day 1. Rewrite as a single log. So you have to think of properties here. Which property used a plus? Multiplication. So I'm going to rewrite this as that. Okay? Now I get to drop the logs. Now guys, pay attention to me. Can I drop the logs before I make it a single? No. You cannot. Alright, so now I can drop the logs. This is a really easy one. 7x equals 37. Divide by 7. Just leave it like that. Please don't give me an estimated answer unless I ask for it. Because if you want to store something and check it, do you want to store 5 point something, 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 or do you want to store 37/7? The exact answer. All right, any questions? All right, I think 19 was the next one. Again, we have more than one log on the left side. It's being separated by a what? Plus. So I need to rewrite it as a single log, and a plus tells me I do what to these two things? Product, property, or multiply. So 2 times 4x squared is 8x squared. Can I drop the log? Is this, and let me put this in parentheses, is this log form? Yes. What's my base? Raised to the equals 8x squared. Divide by 8. What's 8 divided by 8? What do I have to do? Square root. What's my answer? Positive or negative 1. Guys, you've got to get used to putting a plus or minus out there. Will my negative work up here just by looking at it? Yes, why? It's being squared, so it ends up positive. Check them, but for the sake of time, we can use our common sense and make sure we look up here and go, yeah, my negative should work. All right, any questions on that one? All right, let's look at the next one, which is 24, which, whoo, that y'all did great till you got down trying to solve for E. E is a number. If you punch it in your calculator, there is an E button. It's over there with pi and I. All right, so we have natural logs here, so I'm so proud that y'all remembered the E. So proud of that. Do I have more than one log on one side? Yes, so I have to do what to this thing? Divide it. I need to write it as a single log. I think many of y'all got to that point. We okay? Now, this is log form. It's not almost log, it is log. What's my base? E to the second equals, and many of y'all got stumped right there and you left it alone, or you tried to solve for E by square rooting that. I saw that all over the room. That's a common mistake. But guys, E has a number. E is not a variable. I'm solving for X. I'm solving for X. So I have to get rid of the denominator first by doing what? Multiplying. Then add 1. Then divide it by -3. Do not ever give me the value of E. Not right now. So I'm very proud that y'all got to this point. We just got to make sure we're solving for X. All right, where are my questions? All right, let's go over the last one, which is number 25. Natural log of x minus 3 minus natural log of x minus 5 equals natural log of 5. All right, I see more than one log here that I need to rewrite as a single. How will I rewrite this one?
X minus 3 over x minus 5.
This is quotient property. Now, thank goodness what? I have two logs, a log here and a log here, so I get to drop them. Okay, now how will I start solving for this? Multiply by x minus 5, so it cancels here. So I've got x minus 3 equals 5x minus 25. Don't forget to distribute correctly here. Don't do all this stuff with the hard stuff with the logs and forget to distribute correctly. Now I'm going to subtract the x, add the 25. So that gives me 22 equals 4x. So 22 over 4 equals x, and most of the time you will need to simplify. Okay. Yeah, and if you want to do 5.5, since that is a terminating decimal, that's fine. If it was not, leave it alone. All right, so let's go back now. Let's see if you can do some of these on your own. So let's go back and do 3 and 4 and 6. 3, 4, 6. Okay. Let's try 11. Flip over. 14. 20 and 23. Okay.